Cardinal Real Talk, Trinity Valley's first ever live talk show made by students for students. I'm your host, Megan Kinney, and this is your panel.
I'm Jace White.
Agent Price.
I'm Cowboy.
Jake Yarbrough.
Now, as the race for candidacy is heating up, we're left with three distinct candidates. Mitt Romney and Ron Paul for the Republicans, after news that Newt Gingrich will be dropping out of the election, as well as Barack Obama for the Democrats. Now, what are your feelings? Do you think there's a front runner?
I think Mitt Romney is going to win it this year.
You got it all the way.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he's definitely got the Republican race down. I believe when it comes down to him versus Obama, I think lately the past few presidents, people have been wanting to see, can they finish what they started? And I think it's going to come down to, do people want to see, can Obama finish what he started? I mean, look at what all he has done. It's basically pros and cons of Obama's presidency is what it comes down to.
He got more cons than.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree on that one too.
Any president has had their cons. You can't say it's been one president that has came in and has just nailed it.
Bill Clinton.
And then Bill Clinton got him impeached too. So
No, he didn't get impeached.
No.
He went to
The impeachment process. He did not get impeached.
Yeah. And not only that, but if you look at it, like Obama, he tried to fix the economy and everything, but then his first initial reaction was to bail out businesses, which that didn't work at all. They just gave themselves big bonuses.
The one thing he did do that I guess really did help economy-wise was the stimulus package, the helping bail out, Ford and GM.
Oh yes, we're just going to continue to bail out companies, even though we're farther and farther in debt. That's not helping the economy.
It can't hurt it anymore.
Obviously, it is. Have you not looked at gas?
Well, I'm gonna say this: who has a step plan right now? You got a 5-step plan of what can be done.
Well, here's my question, Professor, because they even gave out bailout money to states, and one of the few states that didn't take it was Texas. Our economy is still doing great, and
That's because we're not doing that great.
Yeah, well, we're doing better than most states.
Texas,
we also the biggest state in around.
That's true, but we're also supporting 3 or 4 other states. You realize that, right?
I mean,
Our own economy fuels 3 or 4 states' other economies.
Well, I mean, it be like that sometimes.
That's because we're Texas.
Everything that's what they say.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying is those businesses, some of them did need the bailout money, but not all the businesses that got them. When a bunch of businesses here that the government's handing free money out, they all applied for it.
I did too.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but still, nonetheless, we don't need to bail out those businesses.
Free money.
Yeah, that's why. That's one of the main things that's gonna come down is if Mitt Romney keeps pointing that out through the whole election, then Mitt Romney's got this.
Yeah, too.
Another thing y'all have to realize is that we're fighting a war overseas. It's not cheap. You know how much money that costs?
But then why is he cutting the military budget?
Everybody is gonna have to pay somehow, some way. Sacrifices are gonna have to be made.
So we're going to send our soldiers over there with teddy bears and
Honestly,
bottles of water and let's go, guys! Come on, man.
Now, if you look at Obama tried to help the economy by introducing the buffer rule, which was shut down by Congress, but this rule would have made it so that people that make over $1 million a year would have to pay up to 30% in taxes. Do you think that's fair for the rich to be taxed so heavily?
Nope. No, I do not. That is not fair. Think about it. If you done made your money, why is it fair for you to have to pay more than everybody else? Just because you made your money.
Everybody has made their money. You got kids who get set from the second they born. By the time they turn 40, $1.5 million.
So we have to punish someone's kids because
we're not punishing somebody's kids, but how do you expect America to get out of debt? Just like I said, everybody's gonna pay this. We're not saying poor people don't have to pay, but the gap is getting further and further.
Here's a common misconception. Here's a common misconception. Broke folks don't pay tax. I don't know why people keep saying that. You get income taxes, you get all kinds of other services. So you keep saying, oh, we're paying this tax, we're paying that. But when April comes around and you getting that fat check in the mail, Where's the taxes going?
But isn't it just another way of saying the rich get richer?
Well, here's the thing too. It's like 30%. I think is just too much to tax them. I think if it was a little less of a percentage than 30%, I think it would be good to go. But the problem is that so many people think it's the rich not helping out. Really, it's just the rich have to make jobs for the poor to, make money. And then they use that money to buy products that are made by the rich people that other people work for.
Honestly, the way I feel like it, rich people are throwing away money. If I'm not correct, y'all can correct me. Isn't like Newt Gingrich in millions of dollars of debt with his campaign already?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons
throwing away money. Y'all throwing away money.
That's one of the reasons he's getting. He's not on the candidacy anymore.
How is it throwing away money when you're giving jobs? How are the owners of Walmart throwing away money if they're giving jobs?
How are they giving jobs when they've already put where you can do the self-checkouts? Isn't that taking away jobs?
To an extent. I mean, but first of all, it was a bad example to use Walmart because Walmart is cheap anyway. So they ain't about spending no money no way. But I mean, it's cost effective. Mm-hmm. If you're not about your money in America, you a fool. You have to be about you and your money. If you not, you will be broke and homeless. So people saying let's go after the rich, let's go after the rich. But the first time you get $1 million, you're not finna hear that. You don't even want to be about it. So why are you saying let's tax all these rich folks now, but when I get my millions, I ain't back?
Well, who's it tax? Is it taxing more people that just make over the $1 million? Is it a $2 million?
Anyone that makes over $1 million a year. He wanted to try and tax 30%. Now, in today's economy, $1 million is not that much money.
It sure late. They already hit you with one set of taxes. Then you got your lawyers. Then you got, your accountants and agents and all kinds of stuff. Man, you're gonna end up broke.
Still, I mean. Good point.
Think of it this way. All right.
What's the next? What do we got next?
All right. Here's the question. What is the solution? That's the thing. We can come up from 101 statements on both sides, but what is the solution?
Is it going to help it can't hurt us more than it can help is basically what it comes down to for me. How much money will it save us? How much money will it take the deficit in the next 10 years or so?
Well, the whole thing is your Democrat presidents seem to say, let's go ahead and keep spending, but we're going to tax more. That logically, that makes 0 sense. So how about we cut spending? If we're going to tax more, you have to cut spending. You have to cut spending. You have all these people who are misusing food stamps. They getting welfare. They getting housing. They getting all this stuff. It ain't nothing wrong with them. Get your tail a job.
I agree.
I agree with that.
You sitting at home every day in there. What you doing? Eating biscuits.
And I think that's what it comes down to is why should people that have worked so hard to get there be punished for their successes?
Exactly. It's the American dream to get rich.
But I'd be also with Jake. Should it be 30%? No. But should it? There should be some kind of tax. But I just don't agree that with the rich should get richer. But yeah, you're right. Should we tax people that have worked hard? Not as much, but help out the economy. If you're so worried about the economy,
I say 10%. Give them 10%. They ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Meet me in the middle, cowboy. Meet me in the middle at least, please.
I'm gonna have to cut you guys off here because we have to take a short break. But when we come back, we'll continue the discussion. This is Cardinal Real Talk. Welcome back to Cardinal Real Talk. Our next topic up for discussion is, do you think that marijuana should be legalized in the United States?
Nope.
Yes, I do.
To an extent.
I'm actually going to agree with Jace on this one to an extent. My main thing is they should use it for medical purposes and medical purposes only. Because of like any other plant out there, most medicine is made from plant extracts and stuff. Now, we can actually use marijuana for medicine and medical use, and then they would have to actually treat it as if it was like Xanax, basically. If they did that, they could also tax it. They can make sure they have a good control over it and everything, because it has to be manufactured into a medicine. But the only problem is that, of course, you have to watch out for people abusing it and everything. But yet, I've also seen people, like, I don't think it should be legalized to smoke, because I've seen people where people say it's not addicting, but there are addictive people out there who will get addicted to it because of the feeling.
But I mean, that's just like any other drug too, and I agree with you too. I mean, people are going to abuse it. People will abuse it. People abuse prescription drugs like Xanax, Adderall, Vicodin. People are going to abuse prescription drugs such as marijuana. There is a way you can tax it. I mean, if other countries have figured out a way to legalize it to an extent, why can't we? I'm not saying I indulge. I'm not saying I'm going to use it. But I mean, if we figured out advancement in ways that people with cancer, so to speak, it helps them deal with their symptoms that they have with taking chemotherapy. It helps them out, whenever they get sick. It helps them be able to eat something and all.
That's all understandable. If you want to do all that, go to California, because obviously that's where they do all that at.
I'm not saying Texas will do it anytime soon.
Well, I'm just saying, why legalize weed? What is the point? Smoking grass. Like, you're not smoking anything important. You smoking grass.
Just like we say, why is alcohol legal? People die from alcohol poisoning every day, drunk-related accidents.
Because it's a billion-dollar industry.
I just see it right now that we're almost in the same spot where we were in 1910 and whatever that decade was, 1910 to 1930, in the 20s, when they had the prohibition going on with alcohol, and alcohol was so illegal to have. You had people running moonshine, which is almost the same right now with people with weed. You're selling weed. As soon as alcohol became legal, they found a way to tax it and everything, took the moonshine game out to an extent. People still do run moonshine, okay? You legalize marijuana, it'll take out a lot of the dope game too, I believe.
Oh, no.
But if you look at Prohibition, that's where all those gangs and everything came out of, was illegally running alcohol.
You have to see who the biggest dope dealers in the world are. It ain't little Johnny on the street.
It'll take at least out it'll cut a lot of their budget.
The biggest dope
dealers in the world are not pushing marijuana. They pushing cocaine, keys.
I done seen plenty of people sell marijuana and make $100,000 a year. Plenty of people.
And it's illegal. Take out the marijuana and then boom, they have to go out and get a real job.
Exactly.
That's why it's
in Colorado.
illegal.
They have actual stores.
You legalize it to an extent.
Well, here's the thing: is look at how Mexico is right now. Look at all the cartels. You see what I'm saying? They're running that government down there pretty much now. Mm-hmm. And how are they doing that? Most of it is actually weed. Marijuana is one of their main substances that they sell, and they bring over towards in the borders.
First of all, it's so many forms of marijuana that it's ridiculous. When you say marijuana, are you talking
many different forms
Reggie? Or are you talking about Kush? Are you talking about corn? Talking about dro? I mean, you're not gonna be able to just say, "Oh, well, weed is legalized," because you can't manufacture it. It's no way possible.
But what harm is weed doing?
People still are able to make their own beer. People, are still able to make their own beer. Yeah, people are going to grow their own weed. I mean, again, if you legalize it to an extent, it'll be okay. I mean, like I said, if other countries can figure out a way to do it, why can't we? When you
legalize it, what are you saying to all those people who were locked up for all those years?
Serve your sentence, though, or at least reduce the sentence. It would still help out too. Kids.
Here. It's different if you like some kingpin, but I mean, if you just some thug off the street, you get picked up with like a 20 sack of weed.
Are you really a criminal? Are you really a hardened criminal? Are you really that much of a threat to society? It would help out people.
I mean, are you really a threat to society if you go in and steal something?
But to look at marijuana, that's the number one gateway drug to lead into those harder drugs.
See, that's a choice. I think if that's dependent upon the people you hang out with. That's dependent. You have a choice to make that decision. I don't buy that at all as being a gateway drug.
It is a mental thing. If you choose to tie your arm up and shoot that needle in it, that's you. You choose to pop them pills, that's you. Whatever you chose to do, that's you. We're not judging you for what you do, but marijuana is not the reason you do that. Obviously, you felt that marijuana wasn't enough, so you wanted to venture off into something else.
But that's your own decision, so I feel that if you are to legalize marijuana, it's going to be so much more out there. Children are more exposed to it because people will be smoking it wherever.
People
it's
smoke
not regulated.
You're from Canada. Marijuana is legalized to an extent in Canada,
it's not legal, but it's definitely not as
it's
frowned upon
decriminalized.
as it is here.
Yeah.
And look at the problems. The people that are smoking marijuana are using it half a dozen times a day. And they say that they're not addicted. You cannot tell me that you're using so many times and that's not harming your lungs. It's up to 10 times more potent than nicotine.
Let's just be honest about it. Everybody just ain't, as smart as a box of rocks. So let's just not legalize weed because first of all, it kills brain cells. So
does alcohol, so does cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
I mean, but
you
you say alcohol, you
got
got to be 21 to even touch it.
Yeah.
Legal.
Then put an age limit on marijuana. Make it
Put an age
21, 22, 23.
But I mean, here's the thing: on the back of a cigarette box, what does it say? Was it
You have your warning.
Yeah, one. It was
Why not
lung
first?
cancer, heart cancer. Yeah, it's telling you. Smoke this. It's a chance you might die from cancer.
How you gonna die from cancer and that's helping cure cancer?
We talking on the back of a cigarette commercial.
Yeah, he's talking about the
box.
cigarette box.
The box, man. You know what I'm talking about.
All right, anyways, to segue into our next topic, Trinity Valley has attempted to enforce a 10 o'clock curfew. Do you think that will help our school to keep from
It's
certain
actually
activities?
a no loitering policy.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm actually working on a story of putting the information out there. Until I found out exactly what was going on, I was kind of against it. But after I found out what has been going on and what has been happening, what they're actually trying to do, it's actually not a bad thing. This policy has actually been with the campus longer than the judicial officer has even been here. The judicial officer has only been here 2 years. Now they're enforcing this policy because of the local Athens people are getting into fights with TVCC students right here at the dorms. And to prevent that from happening, they said if you're loitering in a group of people after 10, they're going to fine you. And they're doing that so that the students will stay inside, and then people who are out on campus at nighttime, they know are just are actually people who are just there to cause trouble. So
basically, just weeding out people from Athens against people.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
TCCC.
So it's a very harsh way of doing it, but it's the only way.
I'm on the fence about this. I think curfew is good, or loitering, whatever no loitering rule. 10 o'clock though, I think you should raise it to 12 at least.
All right, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off, but when we come back from this short commercial break, we'll have more on this. This is Cardinal Real Talk. Before the break, we were discussing TVCC's attempt to enforce a 10 o'clock curfew.
Yes, it needs to be enforced because they hard-headed around here. Tell them go in their room, do something. You ain't got to go in your room, but just don't be outside because you're hard-headed and you got extra stuff going on around here. So tell them go in the room or go home or wherever you go.
I think too, there should be one, but I think at 12 o'clock. Plus, what else is there to do after 12 o'clock in Athens? If you've ever been to Athens.
Well, see, here's my main problem with this is that when you actually look at it, the no loitering policy is to prevent people from getting in fights with the local Athens people. But here's the thing is that why are they getting into fights? Because they're bored, idle hands. That's the thing is that there's not a lot of activities here for students to do when they're living on campus.
If you're gonna put a curfew out or a no loitering rule, give the kids something to do inside the dorms or inside the lobby or something like that.
It's plenty of things that we try to do, but you can't do so much because people hard-headed on this campus. You fight so much that it's like administration looks and they're like, we're not gonna do nothing for y'all. Why do something and every time we try to do something, y'all gonna fight?
Yeah.
I still think to an extent. If you do it, kids are gonna find a way. You put a hold on them. Make them feel like they're in jail. One, they're gonna find a way to get around it. If they want to get out of here, they're gonna get out of here. I do like the rule though to an extent because it does come down to me. It's a respect thing, okay? I think you get more respect from your peers that, you know, hey, if I got a test tomorrow at 8 in the morning, you know, a huge final, and you're out in the balcony gibbering, John, you know, keeping me awake, it comes down like, have some respect for your fellow students, okay? You're here at school. You know, for me, that's the biggest thing why I do agree with it.
That's all easy said and done, but when you have Dallas, you have Houston, and you have Athens. You have two huge cities where most of the Trinity Valley students come from. They coming from different parts. They not trying to hear all that. You can't tell me what to do. I'm grown. I'm 18. I can do whatever I want to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they need to tell them, no, go in your room. I ain't trying to hear all this. Yep. Go in your room and Hirsch. Or leave. Whatever you want to do.
I mean, settle this in a Madden tournament or something like that.
Exactly. But they ain't trying to hear that. Because they trying to protect their hood. They this, they that.
Yeah, like I said, it starts from the home. It don't matter where you from. It starts from the home. Because if somebody wants you, they gonna get you. It's not hard to get access to them dorms outside.
You can't say
I had trouble getting here this morning.
You can't say it starts from the home because I know plenty of good parents. Their kids are just hoodlums. That's just the way it is. People are gonna be who they are, regardless of
their parents ain't taking their belt to them. Man.
I know a bunch of people. I know a woman right now who whooped her child and did everything she could for him. But at the end of the day, he was who he was. He gonna do what he want to do, regardless of what a mother does, or regardless what a father
does.
does.
That's what I'm saying too. You put a
can't say
kids
the
do
house
what they want to do.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is like it really comes down to you know, if you give these people something to do, you know, you give them like, because they should be studying and whatnot, but like he said, they're hard-headed. They don't want to do that. They just want to, you know, just do whatever, you know, and
It be like that sometimes.
Yeah, you know,
it be like that sometimes.
So wait, okay, my question is,
you gotta give them something to do.
If you're out past the curfew, what is the consequence?
It's
You
not
get
a
fined. I mean,
It's not a curfew. It's not. It's,
If
you
you're out past
can
the
be
curfew,
outside talking.
Alright, but
what is the consequence?
it's a
for
no
being out
loitering
there?
consequence. If you're out with a group, what is it, like a fine?
Yeah, it's a fine. It's basically like if I was outside and I was smoking a cigarette in the parking lot, if there was one other person smoking a cigarette with me, that's not loitering. That's just us smoking a cigarette before we go inside. But now if there's like 3 or more people there and we're all just smoking and joking, that is considered loitering. The thing is,
It's such a fine line between two.
And not only that, but if you were part of a club activity or there's an activity going on, guess what? The no loitering policy does not affect you if your activity or club meets during the no loitering policy times, because it has to be approved by the college for that activity or group
Here's the thing.
to be there.
This campus is shut down every day by like 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
The only thing that's open is the cafeteria. The library is even closed by a certain time.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like I've seen college campuses where they'll stay open till like 8 or 9, like every department, and there was always, like when I went to San Antonio College, you could go to the courtyard and there was always something going on. One day we had a guy who was airbrushing like paintings and stuff while listening to techno. It was the most hilarious yet awesome thing I've ever seen. You know, it's something that keeps the kids
But
entertained.
you really can't compare that. That's San Antonio. Well, y'all got like what, 35,000 people. It's 12,000 in Athens on its best day. So you can't really compare that. That's unfair.
Yeah, it's true.
And if they do have activities, do you really think that students would involve themselves in these things?
Nope.
Exactly.
Nope.
Well,
Here's something you have to realize. This is a 2-year college in a small town. This is not like PV, University of Houston, just some major school. It's not. We have no Greek fraternities or anything. There's nothing to do on this campus. We have basketball, rodeo. We have a few sports. No baseball team. We don't have that many extracurricular activities for students to do.
Every time we try to do something in sub, nobody comes.
Yeah, and like it's because, and then when you talk to people about it, they'll be like, "Oh, well, I didn't know it was going on." There are some people that I've told, like even this show, like I've told people that this show is going on. I can tell you right now, when I get out of this show,
I could walk down the street, see a friend, and be like, hey, why didn't you watch the show? They'll be like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. And even though I told them like 6 or 7 times.
So it is what it is.
Bottom line, Trinity Valley needs to come up with some new extracurricular activities for students to do.
Students need to come up with extra activities for themselves.
Yeah, really, that's
What else are we gonna do?
That's if you look at it, it should be the student senate's actual own obligation to do that, because that's who those people are. They're supposed to be the voice that students use to build things like that. They're
Students
the
don't even
organization.
want to
for
go
that.
to the student senate meeting. I see signs all the time. They say, "Hey, walk in, welcome, student senate."
Yeah, and that's the thing is no one gets involved. Like there is no unity at this college whatsoever.
Exactly. Because people about getting their degree and getting away or getting their hours and getting away, they ain't trying to hear all that. Everybody is for them, and it's going to continue to be like that. And so, I mean, it is what it is.
All right. Now to move on to our final topic, we're going to discuss the New Orleans Saints they came under fire for the issue of putting bounty on opponents to injure on purpose. How do you feel about that
It's
situation?
football.
These are humans paying other humans to take out another human. I mean, it's wrong. Okay, it's one thing to say, hey, go make a play, but it's another thing when you say, hey, you're not encouraging to make a play, you're encouraging dirty play. On top of that, you're getting paid extra to make that dirty play, sometimes double, triple if you make that dirty play in the playoffs.
I mean, how's that any different from putting a gun in a soldier's hand and telling him to kill someone?
That is black and white, man.
No, that's not black and white. I mean, it's the same. How should I say this? It's the same in the same category, because what you're saying is football is violent. Football will always be violent. Even though the NFL is making it a flag football league now because they don't want nobody to get touched or don't touch him.
Oh yeah, it's a quarterback-driven league. It's an offensive league where it's a fantasy-driven league. Basically.
Boring.
Do what?
It's boring.
Bottom line is,
No, how can you say that?
bottom line is, you got drafted to go and play football. Everybody knows from the time you playing football, that's how it is. I've seen coaches tell their nose guard to just run smack dab into the center just to mess his head up.
It's one thing to tell a player, okay, kill the head and the body will die. It's another thing. Go ahead and go out for another player take the head out of a player who has multiple concussions, tear an ACL. When you tell a player to target an ACL, target someone whose head is already you go back and look last year or 2 years ago in the Vikings and Saints NFC Championship. Brett Favre got lit up.
Brett Favre was 95. I'm a Viking. I love
He
my Vikings.
he got
was
lit up
95.
after he handed the ball off, took a shot to the chin. You're telling me that was not dirty play? You're telling me, when do you ever see a quarterback get lit up just for handing the ball off?
Michael Vick.
But still, okay, then maybe there's a bounty on his head.
No, I mean, it's different from everything. Everybody gonna whine and cry because it's a bounty or whatever. I done heard football coaches say worse, a whole lot worse.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree about that.
Roger Goodell is a little power happy, so he says we're gonna suspend all these people. That's stupid. It's the NFL.
And if you ask me too, though, and the NFL probably does not care. I think they are worried more about lawsuits with the recent concussion epidemic coming up. People are more worried about concussions. They are worried about lawsuits now. So I think they did have to make a move.
It'd be like that sometimes, but the whole situation is the NFL is making the sport into a flag football league, and it's getting to the point where it's almost boring to watch. I'm sorry, Calvin Johnson is probably is the best thing since toilet paper as far as receivers go.
Yeah.
But I'm not about watching him catch a ball all day. That's boring. I want to see him run across the middle and get his head knocked off.
For you and me, the regular football fan, yes, the avid football fan, I would love to see that. But they're trying to introduce football to people who don't normally watch sports. What do people like to see? They like to see fast-paced, points scored, points on the board. They like to see offense, all right? And that's what they are trying to turn this league into, a quarterback-driven league. You can't touch a quarterback above the head or below the waist.
No, you can't touch the Tom Brady's above the waist
Right.
or below the waist. Because Michael Vick, Cam Newton, what's his name? Vince Young, those type of quarterbacks, you're going to get tore up.
I'm going to have to cut you guys off now because we're out of time for this week's segment. But thank you so much for coming out and tuning in. I'm Megan Kinney, and this is your panel.
I'm Jace White.
Agent Price.
I'm Cowboy.
Jake Yarbrough.
And that's what all the talk is about.